If you've been following the news, you likely heard Ukraine asking for security guarantees in its ongoing struggle with Russia. But why are those guarantees so important? The answer lies in a promise made nearly 30 years ago, the 1994 Budapest Memorandum. Let's break it down. In 1994, Ukraine made a historic decision. It agreed to give up the world's third largest nuclear arsenal, consisting of over 1,700 nuclear warheads. Those weapons were not only powerful, but also a significant strategic asset on the global stage. During negotiation, Ukraine even offered to transfer those weapons to the United States. However, the U.S. insisted they will be sent to Russia for dismantling as part of a broader non-proliferation strategy. In exchange, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia signed the Budapest Memorandum, promising to respect Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and existing borders. They also pledge not to use force against Ukraine or interfere in their internal affairs. These were not legally binding security guarantees, but rather political assurances. Still, for Ukraine, this was a huge step towards a global non-proliferation and a safer Europe. Fast forward to 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea and started the war in eastern Ukraine. One of the signatories of Budapest Memorandum, Russia, directly violated the agreement. And while the US and the UK provided support, it fell short of the robust protection Ukraine expected. The lesson from Budapest Memorandum is clear. Political promises are not enough when facing real threats. That is why Ukraine is now pushing for concrete, legally binding security guarantees. The Budapest Memorandum is a stark reminder that international agreements must mean something. When powerful nations break their promises, it weakens global stability and puts all small nations at risk. We're in a critical moment in history. What happens now will shape not only Ukraine's future, but the stability of the world. It's about the kind of world we want to live in. One that promises are kept and power doesn't overrule justice. But this is only part of the story. In my next video, I will dive into the Minsk Agreement, more recent attempt to bring peace to Ukraine, and why they, too, fell short. And what do you think? Should the Budapest Memorandum hold more weight in today's discussion? In the previous video, we explored the Budapest Memorandum and how broken promises left Ukraine vulnerable. Today, we are uncovering another critical chapter, the Minsk Agreements. What caused those peace initiatives to collapse, and why does it matter for Ukraine right now? Let's break it down. The Minsk Agreement were two significant diplomatic efforts aimed at ending the conflict in eastern Ukraine. Minsk I was signed September 2014, just after Russia annexed Crimea and conflict flared in Donbass. It called for immediate ceasefire and withdrawal of heavy weapons. Unfortunately, the ceasefire quickly fell apart, leading to renewed violence. Minsk II was negotiated in February 2015, involving Ukraine, Russia, France, and Germany. This deal aimed to another ceasefire, prisoner exchange, constitutional reform, and local election in the occupied territories. Despite diplomatic efforts, neither of the Minsk agreements succeed in establishing lasting peace. Russia continues to support separatists with military resources, directly undermining ceasefire terms. Additionally, the agreement lacked effective enforcement measures, allowing violence to go unchecked. And lastly, the political conditions like constitutional reforms and local election proven unrealistic due to the ongoing conflict and Russia's refusal to grant Ukraine control over its own borders. The failure of Minsk illustrates a harsh truth. Diplomatic promises must be backed by tangible actions. Ukraine's current insistence on enforceable security guarantees stem directly from past experiences with agreements that lacked accountability. Today, as global leaders discuss peace once again, we must remember that peace without accountability is just empty promise. Ukraine's struggle isn't just about one country. It's about standing up for international law, democracy, and the very idea that freedom matters. Ukrainians are fighting not just for themselves, but for all who believes that sovereignty and justice should win over aggression. Let's support Ukraine, not just in words, but in meaningful actions. Because standing with Ukraine today means standing up for peace and democracy everywhere. What are your thoughts? Should global leaders demand stronger guarantees for Ukraine? Share your comments below. And as always, like, share, and follow for more. Thank you for watching.